Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the program. Welcome to the greatest show in the world. Welcome to your internet. Check 1. Check 2. Marcus Cote reporting. You're live. You're live. You're live. You're live. You're live. Morning, everybody. Morning, everybody. Hello, everybody. Hi. Hi. Happy Wednesday to you. Happy Wednesday. Marcus County reporting. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the program. Give yourselves a hand for making it through another day. Today is February 22 in the year 2023. Reporting live from Northeast Pennsylvania from my very, very comfortable new life here in the Northeast of Pennsylvania, formerly of very rambunctious, crazy, trank-filled New York City. Getting ready for the big storm. Are you ready? Big storm coming. Big storm, probably, possibly. Record snowfall. Looks like it's mostly the north, the farthest north of the United States, lower Canada, all the way from the Midwest all the way over to New York State. Big storm coming. Big storm. Buckle down. It looks like it's going to fly right over my head here in Northeast Pennsylvania. I'm a little too south for to get whacked by it. So talk about, look, is there a drug problem in America? Is there a drug problem in the world? Do humans have a problem regulating the amount of recreational substance that they consume without overdoing it and killing themselves? Do we have such a problem? Do we have a problem where 8 out of 10 people can walk into a bodega, buy a, Budweiser tall beer, sit in the park and drink it and forget about it for another month, as opposed to people who have to go in there every 15 minutes and get a refill and until they fall down in the street? Do we have such a problem in America? And if we do, if you acknowledge the problem, aka the suffering, then how do you solve the problem? Doesn't seem anybody has been able to figure that out. I think that certainly decriminalization is clearly the number one task in solving this war on drugs. How else? I mean, if you leave the illegal, violent, criminal aspect of the drug sale, drug manufacturing, drug distribution, if you leave it criminal, you're clearly escalating the problem. That's first. Get rid of that. Decriminalize everything. Make it whatever people desire, per se. Not necessarily desire to buy 10 bags of heroin and kill themselves. That's not what I'm saying. People will do that anyway. That's a separate issue. Suicide is a separate issue, I believe, as opposed to drug use and abuse. So if you're going to try to deal with the drug problem and say, well, you can't make these drugs legal and available because people will kill themselves, I would argue that people are going to kill themselves anyway. Right? Why? What's stopping them from killing themselves? It's like the choice between a gun and or jumping out in front of a moving train, right? I guess. So what is the problem? But there is clearly a problem. I think when you leave it illegal, not only does it hurt the person consuming it, also it hurts the person who's selling it and gets thrown in jail for the rest of their life. But it also hurts regular people walking by. The desperate, dope, sick junkie is much more likely to steal from you to support his very expensive habit, his illegal expensive habit. So we'll look at that issue. I mean, it is an issue. Also, new Bernie meme. Did you see it? Bernie Sanders, he accidentally walked out. He was in New York City, and he actually accidentally walked out in front of someone's TikTok video shoot and made history, just like the mittens. You remember when he sat in Congress, or he sat watching Joe Biden be inaugurated, sitting with mittens? I think this meme is a little better. It's as good. What else going on? Russia apparently, while Joe Biden was visiting Ukraine, Russia apparently or theoretically fired a very, very large missile into the sky to, quote, test it. And the United States is saying, oh, no, it failed. The test of the interballistic missile that Russia shot up into the sky failed because, and this is the reason why they confirmed that it failed, because Putin didn't talk about it at his State of the Union address. Right? That's American propaganda. They shot up this missile, and it failed because Putin didn't talk about it. If it was a success, Putin would have talked about it. That's ridiculous CIA, garbage. The fact is, Russia has the capability of these very, very large rockets that carry very, very large nuclear warheads. For every one they have, we probably have 3 or 4 of the same. So the World War III escalation continues. Once upon a time, we thought that there would be no nuclear war, would have been put to rest finally. I don't know. It doesn't look like it's going that way. It looks like a domino effect at some point. When one person blows up the other, it starts a chain reaction, and these superpowers, as we once knew them, Russia, China, United States, will probably get eviscerated. And then the black racists are going to love it, because once you annihilate Russia, they're mostly white people, and China, mostly yellow people, and America, mostly white people, right? If you get rid of all of them, what do you got left? You got like the Congo or something, right? Everybody becomes, Africa, the Congo. We told you, white person. We told you, white man, that eventually that Jesus is black, that eventually we would come and rise. You'd have a black nation, black world, right? Black world. Black world. Black world, I'll define it. I'll give it definition. Black world is defined as the world after the nuclear holocaust of the powerful white people. When the white people blow each other up, including a couple of yellows, take the yellows with them. Yellow is closer to white. Is yellow closer to white, or is yellow closer to black? Are the Asians that we call yellow, are they more aligned with the blacks that identify as blacks, or those whites that everybody else blames for being responsible for everything? I don't know, but that's how people look at it. They see color. So thank you, everybody, for joining me. Mark Escante reporting. I got my Xylo. The fuck is Xylo? Zell. I wanted to put that up there. And so I got a website. This is my thumbnail today. Trank, The Walking Dead. Hey, look, this has been going on for a long time. It's not new. Drug culture springs up. And you look at the characters. If you've ever wandered through these kind of gatherings, it's mostly, people living on the street. It's a lot of times it's young people, runaways, just trying to get a bag, selling their ass. I'll suck your dick, man. I'll drop to my knees if you give me $10. Right. and varieties of destitute kinds of characters that they want to give their last $10 up for that thing that makes them feel so good, and Trank, that's the new one, Trank. It's a animal tranquilizer. Apparently legal in America. They mix it in with fentanyl and heroin, and make cool designer drugs that make you want to dance all night long, I guess. But some people, if you look at the image, a lot of people are not dancing. In fact, they're suffering deeply. They go way beyond the good feel that any substance can create, and go into the abyss. You go past the good feeling. Oh, this feels good. I feel good. So if it feels good, maybe I'll do more and I'll feel better. I'll feel more good. Right? That's the mind of the addict. I feel good, so let me do more. And even in light of the body breaking down, where your body is crying out, please stop sending it down. Even when you know your body is doing that, you continue, and you end up like one of these guys out on the street. And it could happen to anybody, really. It could happen to anybody, mostly whites. Look at all the people in the picture are whites. White, and white. All these white people getting screwed there. I have a website. My name is Marcus Conte. Thank you all for joining me last night on the Tuesday Dharma Gathering. If you're taking the 90-day meditation challenge, that's the place to be. Every Tuesday night at 7 p.m., join us. We're already 3 weeks in. That doesn't mean you can't start the 90-day meditation challenge. You start when you start, and you finish after 90 days at that particular gathering. So something I believe in, something I think can most likely eviscerate the drug problem, if you will, the war against drugs. And other things too, common suffering, depression, anxiety, fear. A lot of these things evaporate in the once you put it, once mindfulness is applied, these things tend to dissolve. So every Tuesday night at 7 p.m., if you're interested in that, join us. If you're interested in saving yourself, join us every Tuesday at 7 p.m. And we're live every morning at 9 a.m. right here, right now. Spinning the news, walking through the news, and letting it stimulate us. And that happens right here on YouTube. Best way to support this demonetized channel. We're demonetized. YouTube doesn't want to pay us. They don't think we're worthy. Our news is not as good as their news. Therefore, there's no money for you, Conti. Go away. Right? But this is the workaround for that. People that want to fund the program, as many of you have done. That's why I'm still here, I guess. And I'm doing a shout out. I would like to get one billionaire. I'm looking for one billionaire in the audience. One billionaire. Can you please, pretty please with sugar, peel off a couple of skins and throw it our way. Anywhere from $1 to $1 million for regular people. For you, billionaire, try to squeeze out $1 million. Put $1 million. I know it sounds ridiculous. Oh, there's people who say, "Oh, Conti's out there grifting for $1 million from a rich guy." It's not grifting. It's none of those things. It's called working for a living. And when someone, what's in it for the billionaire? What's in it? Why is somebody gonna send you a fucking $1 million, Conti? Well, if a billionaire does that, he is, inherently part of this rise. For example, if a billionaire is interested in mindfulness and donates $1 million to this program, you're going to get an echo, an enlargement of that messaging. So much so that I might be, in his neighborhood, shaking his hand or her hand, talking about it, and driving the message home. Maybe we'll hold hands and we'll go to a Buddhist nation like Thailand, or go to Burma, or reporting live from Cambodia, or Nepal, right? Wherever. right? And take it on the road. We take the show on the road, right? So that's what you get for your money. You get a lot. You get a lot for your money. A lot of bang for your buck for the billionaire class. So let's start here. There's a massive coast-to-coast winter storm preparing to pummel millions with blizzard conditions, significant icing. Watch out wherever you are. A major disruptive winter storm could go down in the history books for parts of the U.S. as it impacts millions of Americans with heavy snow, blizzard conditions, and significant icing. Twin Cities potentially seeing up to 2 feet of snow. Ow, my back hurts just thinking about that. Right? There's a guy who has to shovel his own snow these days. I enjoy it, though. I'm not complaining. I enjoy not when it's 2 feet. That's a lot of fucking work, right? When snow is 2 feet, that hurts. You get out there with your shovel, but a couple of inches. I enjoy shoveling 2 or 3 inches, pushing it away, and being out there and such. And this is my street. This is my sidewalk. This is my walkway. But 2 feet. So where's it going to hit? Where's it going to hit? These are the records set in 1991. 28 inches in Minneapolis back in November of 1991. So this is a image of, it looks like the direction of the storm. So we're talking about wherever the red is, all the way down to California. Look at this. There's snow all the way down to the... it's very interesting. It doesn't look to be a traveling storm. Look at this, all the way down as far as the tip of Mexico. I guess this is the mountains of Los Angeles. All the way up the west coast through the eastern part of California, the coast of Oregon, Washington State, not so much Washington State, and then right up the middle, from the hills of Arizona through Salt Lake City, Utah, and straight across into the Twin Cities, where it looks like the heaviest major impact is going to be felt. So buckle down, man. Buckle down for the storm. Big storm coming. Could be the last one. Hey, you know what? Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Break out the snowballs. Break out the snowmen. Get a snow fucking, snowmobile. Those are expensive. I'm choking. Excuse me. I should have killed the mic before I coughed in your ear like that. Why is this child walking with no pants on? She's being a good girl, and she's walking through a snowstorm with bare legs. You know how cold that is? Man. So anyway, storm coming. And what else we got? There we go. So yeah, ready for the Bernie? Here's the Bernie theme. I'm going to mute the volume because it's some sort of somebody very important. Some black rap artist that'll take your sight down. It looks like he's coming out of one more time. Ooh. Can you say wrong pipe? Went down the wrong pipe. So let's watch watch the Bernie. His Bernie. It's real. So these two folks are out front of looks like the Pennsylvania Hotel on 7th Avenue. And Bernie Sanders comes walking out. There's music playing. I don't want to play it because if you play it, then you get the channel struck. But so there's Bernie in the new meme. He never seems to let you down. But bewildered Bernie Sanders accidentally wanders into TikTok filming in New York City. So a bunch of kids are making videos, which they sometimes will in New York City. And Bernie walked through it. Look at the expression. It's like, what the fuck, man? Who the fuck, man? I'm Bernie Sanders. Bernie, the gift that keeps giving. And so that's the new meme. Is it good as the What was the other one with the he had mittens on? You remember when he had his mittens? You remember when he had his mittens on? Bernie had his mittens. Bernie had his mittens. There's the picture with Bernie with his mittens. I saw it a minute ago. But anyway, that's the new Bernie. That's a good day. That's a good day when you're making a TikTok video and Bernie Sanders walks through your frame, right? The instant fame. Whether your video sucks or not, doesn't matter. But there you go, Bernie Sanders. Congratulations, Bernie. Bernie's famous again. So Russia test failed. ICBM test failed while Biden was in Ukraine, according to a report. So let's read. Russia tested an intercontinental ballistic missile Monday while President Biden was in Ukraine that appeared to have failed, according to a report. U.S. officials told CNN on Tuesday that Russia used a deconfliction line to notify the U.S. in advance of the missile test. According to officials, U.S. did not view the test as an anomaly or an escalation. The test was a nuclear-capable heavy Sarmat missile, dubbed as Satan II. U.S. officials believe the test failed. Now listen to this. This is what's very unusual. U.S. officials believe the test failed since Russia President Vladimir Putin did not mention it in the State of the Nation address on Tuesday. Really? That's your fucking, intelligence report? Our intelligence reports that because Putin didn't talk about his missile, therefore it failed. How ridiculous. How ridiculous of a review. Where are you getting this? Who put the report out, first of all? Who puts this report out? U.S. officials told, this is CNN. CNN reporting on this, right? So what we do know is that an interballistic missile was shot up from Russia. There it is. That's what it looks like. Big interballistic missile. It's called Satan II, has the ability to carry 15 nuclear warheads at once. 15 nuclear warheads. So I would imagine they shoot it up and then it breaks out into 15 different directions, or all 15 blow up at once. I don't know the difference, but how ridiculous. Was it smart for Putin to shoot up a big ballistic missile into the sky while Joe Biden was visiting the now debunked Zelensky? Yeah, it's something that they would do. It's a flex. Oh yeah, you're gonna go visit that bastard that we hate and won't get out of Kiev. We're gonna test our missile right now. And so the United States is quick to say, oh, it failed. It failed. It failed. It failed. You saw it. It failed. Putin would have talked about it if it was a success, and so it failed. Right. So that part of the story, CNN reporting that the ballistic missile failed, is, I don't know, based on nothing, based on some idea that Putin would have talked about it, right? We're the only one who knows, Putin, did you shoot the missile? Did it fail? Did the missile go up? And what does failed mean? How do you determine something failed? You see it. Right. So anyway, World War III stuff, fog of war. So let's listen to this for 1 second. Right. Quinn Smith points out dumb logic. It is very dumb. Listen to this logic, right? New York State has successfway legalized cannabis in the state of New York. It's legal. However, New York, the way I understand it, initially wanted to give all of the people, the criminals that were convicted of drug crimes, namely marijuana crimes, first crack at a license to sell it. Now, most people that get busted for weed during Prohibition They don't want to have anything to do with the law. They're not drug dealers or sellers. They're just, regular people that got caught up in a bad law. So that general direction of trying to control something that is legal is causing the problem in New York, in my view. You have 1,500 stores, and you got the mayor, Eric Adams, who I kind of like. I think he's fair and open, but I think he's way off on this topic. So let's listen to Eric Adams talk about the cannabis problem in New York, and then we'll reflect on how it affects the tranq and fentanyl and heroin problem also, in places all over America. So let's listen to Eric Adams.
On this cannabis stuff is a real problem, and we must make sure that we can't have people have a mockery of our system. I know the Post wrote a couple of articles.
But what is it a real problem? I'm not understanding. Let's listen again and try to understand what Mr. Adams is saying. What is the problem? The constituents of your state have determined that it is legal. What does that mean? It means that it is no longer in your jurisdiction. It's no longer something of a criminal nature.
And on this cannabis stuff is a real problem, and we
no problem identified. It's just a real problem.
Must make sure that we can't have people have a mockery of our system. I know the Post wrote a couple of articles right across the street.
A mockery of your system? No, Eric. Your system is the mockery. Your system is being made a mockery of because New York, the great state of New York and the great city of New York, can handle legalization of marijuana if you would just get the fuck out of the way. Right? You turn the Greenwich Village would become the Amsterdam of the 1970s and 80s and 90s. Right? It would be a mecca, a place where it's celebrated instead of treated like something very, very bad. It's your policy that's creating the problem, right? That's what's creating the problem, right? It's still technically illegal. Why is it illegal to sell some illegal substance in a store? In a real store, a store where people pay rent to rent the store. You rent the store and you sell your shit in the store and pay tax on what you sell. Why is that a bad thing? I don't get it.
With someone is, we go in, we do enforcement. I think we can only do $250 fine. I thought it was less than that. But, that's the cost of doing business. And, our police officers can't take the necessary action. We need to be targeting those landlords that knowingly...
and there they go. They go after the landlords. You know how deceptive that is? Fuck you. You rented to a pot shop, and therefore we're gonna fine you. Right? They go after the real estate guys, the guys that own the building. Right? That's really. I mean, that's how New York City operates. Right? They'll go after the owner of the building, the business owner, and for what? For what? What is it? What is it that you're so afraid of? I thought this is the way to sanity, right? People like marijuana. They like to smoke it. They like to consume it. They like to grow it. They like to share it with their friends. They like to use it for exercise and relaxation, just like going to the Yankees game and drinking a Budweiser. Right? So I'm failing to see his problem, but he's going to tell you what the problem is. And it's the same old problem over and over again. It's the same, not problem, but scapegoat. It's the kids.
We need to be targeting those landlords that knowingly are renting the space. And so we're going to put a package together just to deal with cannabis, so this does not get out of hand. We're up to about 1,400 cannabis illegal cannabis shop. We have to start.
Illegal cannabis shops in a state where cannabis is legal. How is it an illegal? How does because you set a law that says only some people, all of these ex-criminals over here, they're the only ones who are allowed to sell it. How stupid. How fucking short-sighted can you be? No, this is inclusion and because all the blacks that got thrown in jail, now they have a chance to sell it. Yeah, and what did they do? They're out in the middle of Washington Square Park with a fucking fold-up table, looking over their shoulder, trying to hustle tourists. It's the same old bullshit, man. Look, the best place to sell weed, in my view, number one would be probably liquor stores, because liquor stores are secure and they're very established. They know what they're doing. The second one would be the head shops. There's head shops all over New York City. They sell shops that sell tobacco products and bongs and different types of pipes and all kinds of fucking strobe lights and lava lamps and whatever. And maybe the third, second and third running side by side, I would say is the corner store, the delis. New York City's loaded with delis. There's bodegas on corners all over New York City where you walk in. They're small grocery stores, and they sell. They'll have a counter there with scrambled eggs. You can buy an egg sandwich and a hot coffee in a bag, or a muffin, and why not? Why not buy $10 worth of weed or your beer, or $5 worth of weed and beer, if that's what you're looking for, right? Do it in the bodegas, legal, all legal, right? But here's the problem. Here's the problem, kids.
Refocusing. These children are waking up in the morning, going into the store, getting gummy bears that's laced with marijuana, and then they're gonna go in school and learn, and they're opening up all around us. No. We are losing our grip.
Wow, what a misconception. What a dud. And again, I like Eric Adams. I thought I like him. I like most of his opinions, but man, he's either getting a lot of pressure from some jerk-offs, talking in his ear on this, or he's just grossly off. Kids walking into the store, buying gummy bears and getting high in class. How ridiculous. How fucking ridiculous.
Refocusing. These children are waking up in the morning, going into the store, getting gummy bears.
What children? How many? Where are they? Can you point them out, please?
That's laced with marijuana, and then they're gonna go in school and learn, and they're opening up all around us. No.
See, it's an old-fashioned view of cannabis. Maybe a little bit of that is actually stimulating to people. Has that ever occurred to you? Like the lunchtime drink, where people go. It's not something I do. I think I find alcohol mostly disgusting, but people do that. They'll have a cocktail for lunch, because it relaxes them. But and how many kids look in that bodega right now? In the bodega right now. First of all, in the bodega, no proprietor of a bodega, a legitimate bodega, a guy, corner family store, where there's the guy and his wife and his kids, they're not going to sell fucking THC gummy bears to a kid. Right? How irresponsible do you think people are? You think people are like pushing their drugs for a sale on children? They don't do that. No, they no faster sell a beer to a 12-year-old that walks in and puts a can of Budweiser on the table. The guy in the store is going to say, "You're not old enough. You can't buy that. Go put it back. I would just leave it and get out." Right? So nobody's gonna. This notion that all of these illegal stores are opening. Listen again. What he's insinuating that kids are walking around the streets of New York City early in the morning, going into these shops, 1,500 of them, buying gummy bears, and then being sold gummy bears by the responsible people selling illegal product. and then going to school and getting high. It's ridiculous.
Children are waking up in the morning, going into the store, getting gummy bears that's laced with marijuana, and then they're gonna go in school and learn.
So stupid.
And they're opening up all around us.
So stupid. So stupid. Look, legalization is the way to go. Sorry, Eric Adams. And this is what the usual head shop looks like in New York City. There's literally hundreds of them. This is where you would go. They also sell beer in there. They sell, but mostly pipes, nitrous oxide tanks. They probably sell sex toys and whatever else they sell in there. And look, the police, they seized more than $4 million in illegal product. $4 million in illegal product? I thought it was legal. So New York City's got it all wrong. And, and where does that type of behavior, you see Eric Adams, the mayor of New York City, who, has done a pretty good job thus far. How's he dealing with this problem, right? Skin-rotting drug, trank, infiltrates big cities, zombifying bodies, right? So there's a new drug in town, if you haven't heard, and it has deadly consequences. Let's find out what it is. Trank. It's not something that I've ever seen or experienced, but there's a new drug in town. It's called Xylazine, of course. Excuse me. Xylazine, otherwise known as trank or trank dope or zombie drug, is wreaking havoc in major cities across the country with its devastating effect. It can literally rot the user's skin. All right. The substance, which seemed to first appear in Philadelphia before migrating west to San Francisco and Los Angeles, was used for cutting heroin, but most recently it has been discovered in fentanyl and other illegal drugs. Now, what's the key word there? What's the problem here? Is it the substance? Is it Philadelphia? Is it San Francisco? Los Angeles? Is it illegal drugs? Right. Who do you think is better? Who do you think is more apt to sell illegal drugs to a kid? Right. This guy standing on the corner. Some kid walks up to him and says, "Hey man, hey mister, can I get 2 of those, whatever you're doing?" And this guy's would be very quick to sell them whatever they want at an increased price, right? Or the guy that owns the store. Do you think that this guy is going to, do you really, Eric Adams, I got to go back to this. Do you really think that the Indian men and the Pakistani guys that own this store are going to risk their business and their reputation and damage a fucking young kid by selling him, THC-laced gummy bears? I don't think so. And the other way to go is if you're so afraid of it, why don't you just go the way of every other state with dispensaries? All right, dispensaries are wonderful. They are like CVS. They're like the Apple Store, right? And they work, right? They're safe. You walk in, in this state, you show a card. Here's my card, my ID. Oh, you want my ID? Whatever. Here. Who cares, right? It's legal. You walk in, you're secure. You got a couple of teenagers that are working the door. They're working the room. There's music, right? There's a menu. Everything is safe. Everything is legal. You get thank you very much for your time. Thank you. See you next time, right? It's a store, right? You don't see any kids walking into those stores. You got to be 18 years old to walk into the store. What's the problem? It's just like alcohol. But this is how we deal with it. We need the judges and the cops and the jails to continue to make a lot of money by keeping everything illegal. And we need the hospitals to stay in business, keep those emergency rooms and ambulance workers going 24/7, because they took too much of this garbage that's being sold to them illegally in the ghetto, right? So this shit is in everything. Xylazine seems to be in everything. A non-opioid is not safe for humans, and those who overdose on the drug do not respond to Narcan. So it's not an opiate. It's a sedative-like, creates sedative-like symptoms such as excessive sleepiness and respiratory depression. And it seems to create holes in one's body. Because it is not listed as a controlled substance for animals or humans, tranq lands in a confusing and horrific gray area. Listen, you gotta stop this. You gotta stop this. This is a disgusting war that you can't win. The war on drugs, it's still going on. Nancy Reagan, just say no. Just say no. I can hear Nancy now. Just say no. Remember when she said it? If you're old enough, when we were kids, we would see it. Hey kids, if someone wants to give you drugs, you have a choice. You can just say no. Right? Remember that campaign? How did that work out for you? The city reported, New York City, 90% of lab-tested dope samples from 2021 contained tranq, or xylazine, which can increase the risk of overdose when combined with illegal substances. Okay, so this is what you get. This is what you get. Instead of the nice pharmaceutical dispensary that is run by decent human beings, they grow things and package things and measure things properly. Instead of that, you're going the way of the derelict in the fucking projects in Harlem, maybe, right? Mixing xylazine and fentanyl and heroin with baseball cards and selling it to anybody who has $10 in their hand, regardless of their age, sex, color, race. You want it, we got it. Right? Just got $10. Right? I never saw a drug dealer say no to anybody. Right? They don't say no. They say how many. Right? But if you have it legal, then the legal store is not going to let you in the door. Look, kid, come back when you're 18. So, there's the images. Let's look at the images. How beautiful. How this is as a down on his luck guy. He's got his big bag of needles, his paraphernalia. He's searching desperately for a vein in his leg. He's got a loaded syringe. He's happy, man. That's a happy American right there. Right? He'll either overdose and die from the drug itself, that's poisonous. He'll end up in jail because of the illegal drug that he had in his pocket. Well, this guy right here. What's up, man? That's the heroin nod, the opioid nod that you see all over. They're stuck, right? It's like you get stuck and then you start leaning where you almost fall over forward. You see that all over the city. It's actually kind of sometimes fun to watch. You sit around with your friends and you watch. You say, is that guy going to fall on his face? And they're like, nah, man, he won't fall on his face. They never fall on their face. He's going to go halfway and then he's going to catch himself. He's going to go, and he catches himself. Right? That's the heroin nod. Right? But I'm making fun of something that's, dangerous. Back in the old day, not long ago, back in the old day, September 25, 2022, New York Post reported FleshEating Drug. So this is a typical scene in New York City. Rather than legalize, rather than make it clean and available and or not available, look, make something that is enjoyable to this class of people. It doesn't have to be fucking tranq. Right? It doesn't have to be a horse tranquilizer, but make something that they enjoy, right? You can probably do that with something safer, right? Look, the best way to consume a substance that grows naturally is to decrease the number of processes before you consume it. For example, if an opioid poppy plant grows out of the mud, right, and it's a poppy plant, and it's a bulb, and inside of it is the opium secretion. Right? You cut it open, you squeeze it, and there's the opium. If you consume that, that's the raw product. It's much better than consuming something that is refined down, sometimes hundreds of times, and then laced with garbage. It doesn't resemble the original product. It's like potato and McDonald's French fries. They're not the same, right? You could have very healthy potato, mashed potato, boil it and eat it, as opposed to McDonald's, where you don't know what the hell you're getting. You're getting a pound of fucking saturated grease. So look, legalization. You want to fix this problem. It's not hard to do. But I've seen scenes like this. In the '90s it was like this. I'm shocked that it's still like that. What are you going to do? I mean, where are these people going to go? Right? Give them something to do. They wouldn't be there if it were legal. Methadone clinics. They kind of work, sort of. But there you go, man. People love it. They love their illegal drugs. And just a final, let's look at the stock market. Stock market's open. It looked like the futures were up this morning. Let's look now. Ding, we're open. And all right. We'll give it a little. We're looking at green. The S&P 500 up 12. Dow Jones Industrial Average up 73, and the Nasdaq is up 72 this morning. We're holding green. We are looking green, clean and green right now after a couple of days of red. Apple is up 5 cents. Amazon up $2. Google up 5 cents. Meta, formerly Facebook, up 15 cents. Microsoft up 83. The mighty Rivian and Tesla both up this morning. Makers of electronic vehicles. Rivian, I still think, is a steal. They make the electronic vehicles for Amazon, $19 a share. One day you'll look back and it'll be 400 or 500, I believe. Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, war stocks mixed this morning. One is up $1, the other is down 30 cents. The holy vaccine stocks look to be flat. Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, Moderna not getting their wish. Look, I would even vote for, if you want to make, drugs legal, you know that Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, and Moderna are going to have their hand in it. Let them sell recreational, shots instead of fucking mRNA vaccine that nobody wants. Why push? See, they'd rather push. I'm laughing again at Eric Adams, who claims that bodega and cannabis retailers in New York City are pushing their drugs on kids and harming them. When Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson, how much of that shit did they push, that COVID-19 vaccine, how much of that did they push on kids that didn't want it and didn't need it? So, case in point. So, last story, racism in the name of anti-racism. I don't really want to talk about this, but the University of Central Florida has adapted radical diversity, equity, and inclusion programming that segregates students by race, condemns the United States as white supremacist culture, and encourages active discrimination against the oppressor class. The oppressor class, categorized as what? Male, white, heterosexual, able-bodied, and Christian. You got a target on your back if you're more than one of those things. Male, too bad. White, even worse. Heterosexual, you're fucking gone, man. You're bad news, right? Able-bodied, you got a body that works and it's white and it's male and it's heterosexual. you ain't getting no job here, man. You got to get in the back of the line. And Christian, you believe Jesus? Any mention of Jesus? Right. So this is ongoing. Again, and there's a push. Is this exaggeration that this is what's going on? No, it's not. It's penciled into critical race theory. It's a big problem, and nobody seems to be addressing it in this country. So I'm done with that story. I don't want to talk about it. So thank you all for joining me. My name is Marcus Conte. Give yourselves a hand. Really. If you want to have a realization, if you want to really wake up, really, I encourage you to participate every Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. Sit with us. We'll sit for 5 minutes, and then we'll watch a guru video. And you'll learn something about your own mind, right? Because if you don't do it, if you don't learn, and this is not a threat or although it sounds like it is, if you don't do it, you're going to end up, like this guy over here, you're going to be behind the needle. You're going to be one of these faces in the crowd looking for a spiritual experience in all of the wrong places. So join us, Join us every Tuesday at, Tuesday at 7 p.m. So thank you all for joining me. My name is Marcus Conte. Peace, my friends. Peace. Peace. See you tomorrow. Yo.